Terrifying scenes from inside the inferno.
Hurry up! Everyone out!
Australia's still counting the cost of this summer's bushfire crisis.
It's actually terrifying. I've never seen anything like it.
But in Tasmania, it's a tale of recovery. 1 year on since the state was devastated by its second worst bushfire season on record. The blazes raged through 210,000 hectares across the state's south, central plateau and west coast, devastating Tasmania's World Wilderness Heritage Area and displacing families for weeks.
You know, you just don't think, oh, I'm never going to see any of this again. You know, this is not going to be here. It's all going to get burnt up. You just don't think like that.
That was Rita Helling in April last year. The home she built herself was one of 7 destroyed by the Huon Valley blazes. But the 75-year-old was determined to reclaim her retirement dream. So we paid Rita a visit to see how she is faring. Hey Rita, great to see you.
It's good to see you again.
Jeez, look. The frame is up, the roof is on, the first lot of wiring in too. But rebuilding a kit home has been distressing, at times leaving Rita physically ill.
So the house started going up in December. A couple of months on, would you still recommend building your own home?
Yes, I would if you've got the skills, but it's much more difficult. The main problem is not building it that's difficult. I can do that, you know, but it was all the bureaucratic stuff getting there. And if I'd known, I don't think I would have done it.
Rita says the drawn-out process took twice as long as when she built the same home 8 years earlier, meaning she spent many cold Tasmanian nights sleeping in a tiny wooden hut with scant solar power and no running water.
Are most people surprised when they hear what you've done?
Yeah. People sort of say, oh, you're so wonderful and you're so brave. You know, like, I don't know that it takes bravery or being wonderful. I think mainly it takes being determined.
Determination is something Rita Helling has in spades. The skillful senior has survived heart surgery and had a hip replacement. Like those challenges, she's taking this one in her stride.
I know I'm a little old lady, but I'm actually quite strong and fit for my age and gender and size.
Rita, if there's ever a symbol of just how practical you are, it's the 3 things that you took away when you evacuated. What were those 3 things?
Well, one was my gun, my rifle. The other was my chainsaw. And of course, it's really important in a bushfire situation to have a chainsaw. And
a dozen books, I remember, was the third thing.
My favourite books. Yeah, my favourite books.
In the Huon Valley, towns were cut off for 3 weeks by last summer's blazes, decimating the peak tourism season.
Tourism hasn't yet recovered. We are in some places down 10 to 14% below what we were the previous tourism year.
The hurt prolonged after fire ripped through the region's major draw card, the Terhune Airwalk.
Knowing that some of these trees were 300, 400, 500 years old and they're just falling over.
The airwalk reopened a few weeks ago and things are looking up in nearby towns like Geeveston.
I'd say the mood's pretty good at the moment, to be quite honest with you. Airwalk's just reopened, which is obviously just giving people a little bit more confidence.
Like most country towns, Geeveston is a pretty special place. Just ask Dick Jeeves. The town was named after his great-great-grandfather.
The other day somebody mowed my lawn because I was sick. I don't know which one it was. I don't know who to thank.
The 95-year-old is a bit of a local legend and can't go too far without bumping into a familiar face.
A lot of them are cousins. Bill Nicholas is. He's a cousin. And Debbie Owens is. And they're newcomers. They've only been here 60 years.
What does that mean for the dating life in Geeveston?
We are taught to be careful of family. I think that's what it is.
The psychological trauma of bushfires can last years after the physical danger has passed. The often haunting and emotional experiences were still fresh in the minds of Tasmanians as the nation burned this summer.
We've been trapped by a falling tree, over.
Stop the hose and go! It was really quite traumatic and trauma stays with you for 3 to 4 years. And there are so many people on the mainland that are now in the same position as us, and our hearts, if anything, went out to them.
If the fires have taught these Tasmanians anything, it's the people who matter on the long road to recovery.
I really am very optimistic that in the next 2 years, this place will be pumping again and actually be better.
I think it's been a difficult journey, but it's now becoming a very satisfying one.